Carolyn Doobie here. What's the play for today? Today I'm playing with the Impressables by GelPress. Now what these are gel plates, except that they're embossed. They have a raised pattern on them, which means a whole lot of possibilities for fun. Now right now it's hard to see this pattern on here on camera, I'm willing to bet, but once I get some paint on it, you will totally see this thing pop. Well, the Impressible that I'm using today that's by GelPress is the Rose Mandala, and it was designed by Jen Starr. Now this one has all the benefits of a gel plate for how you can get amazing prints with it, but it's got a pattern embossed onto it. I'm starting out by putting 2 colors of paint onto another gel plate. So this is acting as my palette. That way I've got paint ready to go on these brayers. Each color has a brayer, and there's a reason for that that will make sense in just a moment, I promise. So get paint all over those brayers, 2 colors that are contrasting, and then I am just going to brayer on the first color and completely cover the entire plate. I want to get it everywhere, in the nooks and crannies, that kind of thing. This is where using a generous amount of paint will help you get into those. And notice that I'm not going to clean off my brayers. What I'm going to do is get them all painty like I am this one, and then I'm going to set it aside back in the paint because I'm going to be using it again. Now I'm going to grab the other color, a contrasting color, and I'm just going to gently brush it. I'm going to roll it onto the top, and you can see how it's sticking mostly to the embossed image. So it's really making that pop. Now, if I ever get a big swipe of color where I don't want it, like I did that little bit of purple, it's an easy fix. I just take the other brayer and just kind of go over it a little bit, and it blends it right in. Well, now it's time to take this print. So I've got a piece of paper here, and then I'm going to flip the plate over onto the paper. Next thing I need to do is make sure I've got good contact. So what I can do is take a brayer and rub that over the top of it, or I can use my hands to do it. And which one's better to do, the brayer or your hand? Well, quite frankly, it's whichever one is easiest for you. And then when you think you're ready, you just go ahead and pull that plate up to reveal the print below. Now I love that I have some areas of white, I have some areas of teal, and I have some areas of that neon purple. Now there's still plenty of paint on that plate, and we're not going to waste any of it. We're going to go right back over this. We're going to do this all again, but you're going to see how the colors start to change as they build up on here. Now this time as I put the top layer on, I'm not going to be nearly as careful about it. I'm going to let bits and pieces go on the edges here and there. The colors are beginning to mingle together. So this is going to give me a different look than the first one. The color is going to be slightly different. Well, you'll see when this one gets pulled up. Now, I can use the brayer to go over it, or I can use my hands. When I'm using a large brayer like this, sometimes it has a hard time getting to the details in the middle. So if I want to get into any of those detail areas and make sure I've got the paint impressing in there, then I might want to bring in my fingers. But if I want that white area to stay white, that's where that big brayer is very handy. And again, brayer or hand, personal preference as to which one you feel gives you the result that you want. Now notice I haven't cleaned anything off, and I'm going to put more color on top of here. Now my palette that's over here, I'm starting to run out of juicy paint, so I'm just going to put a little bit more on there and smear it around, and then in comes another layer of that bright purple. Now every one of the prints that I'm making in this video is using the same 2 colors of paint, it's using the same Impressible GelPress plate, and yet the prints are not identical. They're not even close to being identical. There are color variations, there are different places where the paint transfers a little differently. All of these things are, to me, the magic of mono printing, because each one is automatically different, and it'll be different for each person that prints. Even using the exact same supplies, everybody's print looks a little bit different. And that to me is such a big part of the excitement, because every time I take a print, I'm never 100% sure of what I'm going to get. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm going to get, and sometimes I have an idea. Like with this, I have an idea of what it's going to look like, but I can't guarantee how it's going to turn out. And that is the excitement that keeps me coming back time and time again to playing with a GelPress plate. Can you tell I'm just a little bit addicted to making these things? Alright, so now it's about time to lift this up and see what treasure I have waiting for me underneath there. Now I've been doing a couple of prints with this, and so there's a fair amount of paint on that Impressible plate. So what I'm going to do is just take a print with what's on there. Taking a second print without adding more paint is called a ghost print when printing, and obviously this print will have less paint on it than the print before it, because we put some of it on the paper already, right? So I'm going to spend a little bit of time really pushing this plate down to make sure that I've got all the embossable areas, all the embossed areas really touching the paper, getting in there, really working in to suck up all the paint that's left on there to make this print. And I love the white highlights that were a wonderful surprise on this print. And now I'm just going to keep taking more ghost prints off of this. I'm not going to add any more paint to it, but I'm just going to keep removing every last drop that I can of paint from this pattern. Over on the blog at acolorfuljourney.com, I will have photos of all the prints that I've made in this video so you can see them side by side, and you'll be able to see all the wonderful variations that are in it, how unique each print looks even though each one was made using the exact same supplies. Now, before you ask this next question, which I know you're probably thinking, is how on earth am I going to clean this? When I'm all done playing, when I'm done printing for the day with this, while the paint is still damp, I am going to hit it with some water. And I'm going to let that water get in all the nooks and crannies. I'm going to be very generous with the water. And then I'm going to bring something like a baby wipe in to just wipe things up, clean around it. If I want to use a paper towel, could I use that? Absolutely. I just like how baby wipes hold up really well and hold lots of moisture in them. So I'm kind of moving around there, getting in the nooks and crannies. It's all very, very juicy and wet right now. If it's not juicy enough, if it's not wet enough, all that means is I'm going to hit it with some more water. Now, if I had a sink under the camera, I could be running this under a sink to clean it off. I just don't have a sink underneath the camera right now, so I'm doing it with a baby wipe. Once I've got it nice and juicy, then the last step is I'm just going to bring in a paper towel and blot it up dry, and it'll be clean and ready to go. Well, even though this video is just about at an end, the fun doesn't have to end here. There's lots more play happening over on the blog at acolorfuljourney.com, where I've got things like my free workshop called Permission to Play, as well as my newsletter that includes things like free sparks of artspiration for you to download and print out. Now, if you've been enjoying this video, I would so appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my videos, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll know as soon as I have a new video out. Well, thanks so much for joining me for today's play, and thank you for letting me be a part of your colorful journey.